Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of YEG Pivots. Today we'll be taking a look and tour inside Snap Gallery here in the North Edge and learn a little bit more about the many different things that this gallery is doing for artists in the community here locally and even internationally. Let's go inside and meet them. And so here I am with April Dean, Executive Director of Snap Gallery. Snap actually standing for Society of Northern Alberta Print Artists. Now, April, you have so much going on. Your website is just chock full of information, so many programs, so many exciting endeavors that you guys are involved in. I don't even know where to ask you to start, but please share with us a little bit about what Snap is involved in, maybe a little bit of history for those who aren't familiar with your gallery yet.
Sure, yeah, great. So SNAP is a nonprofit artist management center. The organization is almost 40 years old. We have a long history in Edmonton of supporting artists locally and abroad. And we're brand new to the Queen Mary Park neighborhood. We just moved in February and we're aiming to be open April 1st. And so SNAP as an artist-run center does lots of different programming. We have public exhibition galleries where we show work by local, national, and international artists. But we also have a printmaking facility and studio, so we rent space to artists who produce their own work in our facility. We also do lots of workshops, drop-in programs, community programming. Like you said, it's a lot of things to talk about.
Well, we have lots of time, so tell us more about the gallery itself. I heard you guys are doing some renovations. Do you have an expected opening time? Any big plans for like a big opening event?
Absolutely. Yeah, obviously the COVID-19 crisis has put a real, I don't know what the right word is, stop to our ability to sort of be open and fully celebrate with our community. And so we're working toward reopening to the public in September, and we'll be opening an exhibition by two local artists that is a really interesting exhibition, multimedia. It has a sound score, it has visual art, it has prints, it has video work. So we're working toward opening our doors again to our neighbors and to the public in September. Throughout the summer, we're showcasing new works by emerging local artists in our street-facing windows. So we're on 115th Street here, and we'll be showcasing new works by local artists all throughout the summer, July and August.
Wow, that's exciting. So now let's take a step back. Yes, things have changed since COVID. How did that impact you guys at the outset? Take us through. I mean, when did you have to shut down? What kind of steps did that?
It's been a wild ride for us. So we did a large renovation within these what were two light industrial bays, and you'll get to see throughout the rest of the episode how we've renovated the space. And so we renovated sort of all through the back half of 2019. We formally moved our fixtures and furniture and operations into the building mid to late February. And we were working really hard to be fully open and operational for April 1st. We were on track to do that. We did a light opening of some exhibitions on March 13th.
Oh wow.
If you would think back to what that week in March 2020 felt like, it was a confusing and stressful and really interesting time. So we had some artists here that we have long-standing relationships with. They came in from out of town. Their families are here. We installed their exhibitions, which were supposed to be our inaugural, really celebratory exhibitions. And then we immediately had to close. So we had a really soft opening March 13th. The feeling was we weren't even sure if we should be gathering with folks. The recommendations were changing daily at that time on what was and wasn't safe to do. And so, we had a quiet, physically distanced, celebratory opening, and then we immediately closed to the public the next day, which, has been disappointing, but obviously the right thing to do. And, we have an amazing team of staff and members and a board of directors that are super engaged, and everyone's just thinking through ways that we can continue to engage safely until we can be open again.
That's awesome. Now, before the camera started rolling, you were telling me a little bit about some of the virtual services that you guys have been offering to artists. Maybe you could expand on those a bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough. It's been a real realization for us and for me that everything we do at Snap is about gathering together. Printmaking in a studio is about shared physical resources. It's the reason printmaking studios exist is because presses and large equipment and expensive chemicals are much easier to access when we can share them. And so we've sort of been all about bringing people together to learn, to experience, to celebrate culture. And so this time of distance we've really had to rethink what that looks like in terms of printmaking and in terms of our programs. That said, our community is really quite invested in the things we do. So yeah, we've done some artist talks and lectures online, and actually the turnout has been great. I think we did an artist talk maybe mid-April, and more people showed up online than they probably would have done, on like a nice Saturday afternoon when they have lots of options to be outside of their house. So in some ways, there's a bit of a captive audience of folks at home looking to us for some kind of enrichment and this ability to still reach out to people. And we've continued some professional development and workshops online. We're thinking about how what we do translates to online platforms, but we also know that the ability to sort of gather and share resources and share space is really critical to what we do.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm guessing you guys have implemented some measures here for, working in the print area. Mm-hmm. What do those look like?
Yeah, so we started having artists back in the studio in June, and it looked like 20 pages of health and safety protocols, and everyone, really agreeing that they were responsible for keeping each other safe. We'll probably forever have a budget line for hand sanitizer, as will every other business. We've had to really roll back the number of people we can have in the building and in the studio safely at a time. And this makes me really grateful that we were able to do this renovation, move to this expanded facility. We now have 6,000 square feet, and so we can have 5 people working in the building, and everyone has lots of personal space, which right now is really what folks need for sure. Artists in general, printmakers for sure, have a bit of a heightened health and safety focus anyways. So this idea about wearing PPE, wearing masks, wearing gloves, washing your hands 100 times, printmakers were often already doing these things anyways. It's just part of working safely in a studio when you're around inks and chemistry and so we just had to sort of reinforce the reasons why PPE is so important right now, and we're just carrying on.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. I just want to see here to make sure that we have covered everything. As we mentioned, there's just so much going on here at the gallery. So yes, there was something I wanted to ask you about were the scholarships. Mm-hmm. So are those, can you tell us a little bit about those and when they open?
Yeah, absolutely. So Snap has a scholarship program, and so we run classes and workshops in all different kinds of printmaking throughout the year. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning of 2019, we established a scholarship program opening up a minimum of 10 spots in our classes throughout the year for anyone who had an interest in applying. The reason for the scholarship is that often the fees that we charge for our classes are prohibitive for people, especially people at the early stage of their career, low-income families, people who just have other priorities for the funds they have available. We still want to make sure our programs are accessible. Mm-hmm. We will absolutely open the scholarships up again for fall. Right now we're just really thinking through what our education program looks like in fall and how we can continue to allow people to learn in our space safely. And I think what that would look like is probably a lot more one-on-one instruction as opposed to larger group classes and workshops.
Which actually might be beneficial for students, right? Getting that one-on-one attention with an instructor. I mean, that's almost...
Yeah, in a lot of ways, then you can identify a project or very specifically sort of identify the skill you want to learn in printmaking. And then what we do is connect you with an artist who already works in our facility and has those skills, and you set up sort of a certain number of hours and just learn how to make prints.
That's awesome. So they're gonna have like a mentor that
That's
kind of
exactly
guides them through the process. Yeah. Wonderful. And now, so many artists are involved with Snap Gallery. Where can we look at their art? And I'm under the impression that we can purchase that art as well. So maybe you can share with our viewers a little bit about where they can support these artists and purchase some of their works.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Snap has an art sales section on our website, and we have been commissioning new works of art through a number of different programs since like 1982. So we have hundreds of prints in our sales collection, and we endeavor to keep prints really affordable for people who want to buy art and support a local organization. All of the artists who have prints in our collection have already been paid for the commission, and so it operates sort of as fundraising for Snap. In addition, we have lots of active artists in our studio who sell their own work, and the Royal Bison Art Fair is a really great place to connect with local artists, local makers. We support lots of artists who will be selling work at Royal Bison, and they've moved to an online format as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that normally take place?
Well, they've done a pivot as well. So they're doing a summer market right away this upcoming weekend. But then I'm sure there will be holiday markets in November online as well. So I would just follow them as a place to really connect with, and they do a really good job at curating sort of this really diverse range of makers in Edmonton as well.
That's awesome. So the artists that work with Snap Gallery are not just local artists then. They're from all over.
Yeah, so we have a membership. We're a nonprofit society, and anyone can become a member of the society. And we have close to 300 members.
Wow.
And I would say very few two-members' reasons for being members are the same, right? Everyone has their own motivations for what they're interested in with what Snap has to offer. The artists that we show in our gallery, are often regional or national or international artists. We also have a really firm commitment to local emerging artists as well. So normally we would be showing 2 different exhibitions at a time. One would be a local emerging artist. Often Snap is a place for artists in an early stage of their career, their first major exhibition. And then alongside that, we're normally showing an artist who is more established in their career, has a finished body of work, and is maybe sending their work from Japan, or from the USA, or from Germany. We show artists sort of at all different stages of their career, and really aim to provide a platform for support for a whole range of things.
That's incredible. And all this, in addition to a publication that comes out 3 times a year.
That's true.
Tell us about that.
You're making me tired just thinking about it. So Snapline is our very beloved publication. It's been a project that we've been working to increase the profile of for years now. Snapline used to be just sort of a small internal newsletter for the society and its members. And then, about 7 years ago, we had some conversations about if we're putting all this time into publishing, anyone who does publishing, whether it's a newsletter or an online, weekly, they know that it takes a ton of time. And so if we're putting something together to print, let's really do it. And over the last 7 years, we've really grown the profile of the publication. So Snapline comes out 3 times yearly. It's a special subscription membership where we also commission a limited edition print in tandem with the publication.
Oh, wow.
So if someone's interested in getting the publication and an original limited edition print in the mail, they can become a Snapline subscriber. It's $150, which also supports the society. You're a member of the society, and then you get 3 limited edition prints throughout the year as well.
Wow. So it's $150 a year for the membership.
Yeah.
And you get 3 limited edition prints.
And the publication.
And the membership.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Go to snapgallery.com.
Snapartists.com. Snapartists, all one word, .com. Yeah.
Excellent. Is there anything I haven't asked you, April, that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. Ultimately, just that we're so thrilled to be a part of the Queen Mary Park neighborhood, the North Edge Business Association. You know, we're really excited to get to meet our neighbors. It's a really challenging time to be out in the community. Normally, we would want to be throwing a party and having folks by, you know, to celebrate, maybe with an after-work beer, and to come in and get to know us. And we're confident we'll get there, but please come by, have a look at the work in our window. We are just looking so forward to being kind of fully open to the public when it's safe to do so again, and getting to know all the folks that we're excited to collaborate with in this neighborhood.
Excellent. Now, for those that are maybe interested in a future rental of your facility, you guys do provide rental opportunities, and that's something that they can stay tuned to your social for when you guys will
For
be
sure.
available.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of assess rental opportunities on a case-by-case basis. So because, you know, our functions are as an art gallery and as a space for artists, those are always going to be our priorities.
Right.
But we really want to be accessible and available to the community as well. So yeah, folks who are interested in accessing the facility in that way should just get in touch.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, April Dean, Executive Director of Snap Gallery, thank you so much for your time today. And we're going to move on now to a tour of the gallery and meet some of the artists. So I am here with Caitlin Bodowitz, professional artist and member of the Snap Gallery. Caitlin, thank you so much for your time today. Very excited to be interviewing you, a professional artist. Very exciting that you're doing this for a living. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got into it?
Yeah, my artistic pursuit started in my childhood. It's something that I've always dreamt and been encouraged to pursue. So I definitely attribute everything to the way I was raised and a deep love for nature, which is translated into my practice, and a work ethic that encouraged me to go to university. So I pursued my honors program in printmaking from the University of Calgary. Yeah, so I graduated from the University of Calgary. I did take a breather and skipped down to the States to be a ski bum for a little bit. But when I came back to Canada, Edmonton was going to be home for us. And at that time, I wasn't actually quite aware of the art scene in Edmonton. And I was incredibly grateful to find out that when we landed here, there was a whole printmaking collective, gallery and studio space that I would be able to call home. And honestly, Snap is what allowed me to jump full-time into my professional practice right out of school. So I'm always incredibly grateful for this space, because without an organization and space like this, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So yeah, I've been able to be full-time with my practice since I graduated.
That's incredible. And so now tell me a little bit about what inspires your art. I know you mentioned you love nature. And I think this is one of your pieces and it looks beautiful. You can definitely see the natural elements. Tell me a little bit more about, you know, what inspires you, where you find your inspiration to make these beautiful pieces.
Yeah, so I mentioned that a lot of my artistic pursuit is rooted in where and how I was raised, and I'm originally from northern British Columbia, and I grew up on a mountain in the middle of nowhere, a very isolated community. So from an early age, I was taught to both celebrate and respect, and I just fundamentally fell in love with the natural world. So I've carried that forward into my practice, and I've become very passionate about using my art form as a way to educate others, celebrate nature, and in turn hopefully protect the natural world. So I care a great deal about local species, both flora and fauna, so animals and plants, primarily in our Canadian backyard. Every animal or area that I depict, I try to have a personal connection to. That's kind of a sense of my authenticity. I want to be able to have experiences with caribou in order to put them onto wood or silkscreen them in order to convey that to my clients or audience.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah.
So tell us about this piece. Did you have like an encounter?
Yeah, I'm actually, well, where I grew up, there is an endangered herd that I was able to have close encounters with when I was growing up. And then there's many herds, there are southern mountain caribou that live in that area, and all of them right now are listed as endangered. And actually right now, I have been graciously awarded a Canada Arts Council grant to pursue a conservation project specifically focused on caribou. So this is a very, very small sample of really, really large scale work that I'm working on, and it's also going to be accompanied by a short film. And it's to, once again, it's to celebrate the beauty of these animals, but to create critical conversation around conservation and use my art as an educational tool to make people fall in love with them and then help keep them alive.
It's incredible. So much meaning like behind your art. I think that's so commendable, and it just gives more depth to the piece. I mean, before we started the interview, kind of admiring some of your work, and I mean, knowing that now, it just gives that extra layer of like, wow, the artist actually has like this energetic connection with your subject, and so that's beautiful. And knowing that you kind of have that rooted in your upbringing, it's just, I think that really is authentic. So kudos to you. So when is this film coming out?
Everything in terms of the grant is wrapped up. The project will be completed in September, but there's not quite a release date yet.
Okay.
September is kind of our initial deadline, but the project might extend further than that before we're ready to share it with the public. But that being said, there's going to be teasers of both the new body of work and the film coming out around that time.
Wonderful. And now, so would you be having an exhibit here at Snap Gallery?
Unfortunately, nothing is concrete yet, but the intent, is to exhibit the body of work, have screenings of the film, and since there's an educational component, we're hoping to possibly bring in lectures by caribou specialists or ecologists as well.
Wow. Now, I know we talked kind of about the emotion and the inspiration behind your work. Maybe we can get into more of the tactile side of things. Can you tell us how you create these beautiful pieces of work?
Yeah, so I'm a mixed media printmaker. So the printmaking practice that I specialize in is silk screening, which would be kind of in the geometric or the colorful elements in my work. But I incorporate it also with drawing, woodworking, and photography. And I primarily work on wood or found objects, which isn't actually super common in the printmaking world. Traditionally, a lot of practices are done on paper. And I don't think I've touched paper in over 10 years. So I like to just push the boundaries of what my practice or the medium itself can do.
So where can we find your work and support the conservation of wildlife and nature that you're instigating across the world, really?
Absolutely. So I do have my own website, so www.caitlinbodowitz.com. From there you can see lots of my portfolio and my work, and list upcoming events, markets, and you can always contact me there.
Awesome.
It also directly links you to my social media platforms, so Instagram is the best one to see how and when I'm making my artwork. My handle is @CMBPrintworks. I also have an online store, so I have an Etsy shop that's under CMB Printworks as well. And then in terms of my full practice of the business aspect, my art's available everywhere from my online store. I also sell it at local boutiques in the city like Picks on the Square and Muley's. And then I also participate in local markets like the Royal Bison, which is actually coming up soon here. And then in addition to that, I work with private and corporate clients. I do public art. I have murals in the city.
That's exciting. Where?
Well,
can't just drop that you have a mural and not tell us.
Well, this one's a little bittersweet because it's currently being developed with urban development. So, but it was on 124th Street at 107th Ave. It was called The Locals, a big geometric landscape with animals peeking through.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for anyone, that's right in our area too. So awesome. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to share with our viewers that we haven't chatted about yet? Okay, totally put you on the spot. Caitlin Bodowitz, everybody, thank you so much. Please go check out our website, and also remember that by visiting snapartist.com, you can also link over to Caitlin's work through there as well. So thank you again, Caitlin, and amazing work. Just big fan. Thank you. So our next guest here at Snap Gallery is Amanda McKenzie. And Amanda, you handle the print shop and programs coordination?
Yes.
here for the gallery. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved at SNAP.
So I went to school at U of A, and I did a printmaking and painting program at Bachelor of Fine Arts there, and I graduated in 2012, and I started volunteering 2010, 2011 at SNAP's Old Space and getting involved that way. And then in 2012, I was one of the SNAP Emerging Artists in Residence, so I was able to kind of get into the space, transition from being in school full time and then becoming an artist and in a more communal print shop. And then I continued renting for a couple of years and volunteering and being involved in different programs. And then in 2015, I applied for the print shop and programs coordinator position, and I've been here for 5 years now.
Wow, so time flies. You've had quite a history with SNAP. That's incredible. So now tell me a little bit about the what we're standing by here and some of the programs that run in the print shop.
Yeah, so we have a wide variety of programs from beginners to intermediate and advanced ability levels. So someone that has never done printmaking before can come and take a beginner class. People that have maybe taken printmaking in school or taken a class before can then expand on their skills. Right now we're in a position where we're not offering in-person classes. We're hopefully going to be offering a few different structures in the fall, maybe like half in-person, half online. But right now we're focusing on more online demonstrations and tutorial videos so people can be printing at home and still learning and advancing their skills, but not needing to physically be in the space quite yet until they're ready.
Good. Yeah.
And here, there's a few different examples of relief printing. So there's some carved wood blocks and a carved piece of linoleum, which I'll print later. So just a few options. This is very easy to be doing at home. Materials are accessible, and you don't actually need a press to print. You could be using a wooden spoon, the back of your hand.
Really?
Yeah. So it's actually pretty easy. I'll show how to print at SNAP, but this is a really easy way to do more DIY methods at your home, in your kitchen. Yeah.
That's exciting. And so if anyone watching is interested in learning how to do this stuff at home, you're saying they can enroll in kind of like a virtual workshop and use what they have at home and these tools that are easy to get a hold of and participate.
Yeah, so we're, for August, we're going to be doing more online demonstrations. We'll start with some Photoshop ones. We're planning carving demonstrations. So if you want to learn how to carve or expand on your skills, I'm not actually the best carver, so it'll help me as well. But and then if there's something that you're interested in as well, we'll happily be able to offer that or point you in the right direction of where to do that or offer it in the fall.
Wow. So it seems SNAP is really just like this tremendous resource for emerging artists, for established artists. You guys are like this incredible network of support, and like I'm so incredibly impressed. The more we talk to different members here at SNAP, we're just learning about how much you guys are doing for the artistic community. So, I mean, commendable. All right, so should we dive in? Are you gonna?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
So here, this is just a good example of relief printing. So there's wood blocks and lino. So these are materials that you can access, you probably have at your home or you can get at an art store. So what you'll do is you'll actually draw out your image. You'll want to have it in reverse because it is a mirror image, as you can see.
Right. And
you'd actually use these carving tools. There's different ones where you can replace the points, and they come in different they have different like sizes and shapes, so they'll give you a different line quality. So this was a block that our summer students last year carved and printed for an event we do, Print It Yourself. So you'll actually carve that away, and whatever is removed from the surface of the plate or the block, that won't accept ink. So right now I'll just print that. And this is oil-based ink. You can use more easy to clean up inks, soy-based, water-soluble inks. It's great to do with kids as well. And this is just has a thicker consistency than paint. So that way it sits on top of the surface, and then it will go, it won't go into those grooves. So then when we go to print this, we'll get just all of that coming off just like that. And this is something you don't need a press for. You can use a wooden spoon, the palm of your hand, a Baron. There's lots of different ways that you can be printing it.
Wow.
So I'll show you guys how to print this over on the press. Okay. So I put this onto the press, but again, it's something you can be printing at home. So I'm laying it on a piece of acetate so I can easily clean up after. This is one of our etching presses, so we can print plates, blocks, wood, really whatever, as long as it's not too thick. And then I'm gonna place my paper down on here to cover it. I'll just put a piece of newsprint as well. And then I have a bunch of different blankets or felts. These just add cushioning.
Okay.
So when we're running it through the press, the barrel won't be just putting so much pressure on it, but instead having an even amount of pressure. And then I just wheel this through. It has a really great fun wheel. Our press over there is like a big ship wheel, which is always fun when kids come in to use it. And then once you've rolled that through, you can take that off. And then you'll have your print. And then it's flipped that image after. And then now if I wanted to print multiple of these, if there was a card or an edition I was doing, I would just go back, ink it up, and then print it again. So very easy to keep doing once you've carved it and figured out what you want to make.
Okay, so now Amanda, tell me a little bit about the member exchange program.
Yeah, so we've been doing it for about 5 years now. So each year we've kind of grown how many members would participate. So it's a program where members of SNAP, that could be anyone, it doesn't have to be artists, it could be new students, it could be anyone that just has become a member of SNAP and is supporting them. So a member of SNAP then will participate and create however many prints, usually we have 10 or 12 in the edition, and they'll make that member, and it's a size constraint, and then they will receive 8 prints back, and SNAP will keep 1, depends how many the edition is. So in other years we've had between 20 to 30 people participate. This year we still wanted to offer the exchange, but it was right in the middle of when the self-isolation and like stay-at-home orders were in place, so we were wondering how to do this because people have always rented at SNAP, have printed, and then done the exchange. So we altered it this year and lowered the edition size, so people just have to make 6 prints and to be printing at home. So the theme was in place, so to think about staying in place of, or connecting to the place that they're in currently. So definitely a very common theme for everyone.
Very appropriate,
yeah, we're all thinking about it. So we actually had 44 artists participate this year. Usually we won't have, we'll have a lot of people say they want to, but not as much follow through. So this year was really special because we had a large number of people all print, and they did an extraordinary job because they've done really quite difficult techniques at home with limited materials. A lot of the art stores weren't open yet at that time. They're doing childcare, working from home, so it was really a really special year. So we have it up for display right now in our window, so people can walk past and take a look, and it's also on our website.
Awesome. And so you have some pieces to show us as well?
Yeah, so there's just a few here. These 2 are different relief prints. So Andrew Benson, this one here, he actually collected bread tags and then carved them and printed it. So really fun and interesting use of materials and composition. And then this one, Leanne Johnson. This one's called Beanie Absconi. I just really love the title as well.
So cute.
But this one is more of a traditional relief print that she's carved, just like how I showed you guys over there.
Really? So this would have been carved in reverse with those tools, just like you showed us.
And printed at home, so no press. So she did a really fabulous job because there's really fine lines and detail. So those 2 are some relief prints. Some other techniques that were interesting to be done at home. This one is a lithograph. Lithograph is difficult in like the studio space. It's very finicky. You use a lot of chemistry and chemicals. It's like a oil versus water process.
Okay.
But there's a way you can do this at home. It's called kitchen litho. If you guys are interested, just look that up. So it involves using tinfoil, Coca-Cola, and oil-based ink in your kitchen, and creating a print from that. And Justine, she's a really amazing artist, and she also works at Holes, and she's a horticulturist. So she actually used plant material in this, and you can see a lot of the green material coming through from the plants.
Incredible.
This one is by Sydney Lancaster. So she created a cyanotype. So this is a photography process, but done with UV light. So she actually exposed this outside using the sunlight. So you coat the chemistry on and then expose it to the light. And to get all of them very consistent takes a lot of skill and patience, because you're kind of fighting against clouds, Alberta weather. So this is a really great one. And she's made stencils with a map and her text as well.
Beautiful.
And then two other ones. This one is a portage, so that would be like a rubbing. So Alex Keys created this one, making a rubbing of different objects. So that's another form of printmaking. And then this one by Deltra County, she created a monotype. So she has handmade paper in there. She also has like different drawings and layers. So this is a more like painterly, mixed media approach to printmaking, and each one is ever so slightly different. Yeah,
That's incredible. And how many pieces do you have now? So there's 44?
Yeah, there's 44 artists. Each of them made 6 prints, and then they each received 5 prints from other artists.
And so now to participate, got to be a member.
Yeah, so next year we'll do it. Maybe this year we might do like a postcard exchange or other things. So just keeping people engaged in other ways. But if ever you're wanting to make prints, just reach out and we're here.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda. We so appreciate you taking us through this and the exciting programs you have in place, and also to see how cool it is to use that print press.
Yes.
And learn a little bit about how we can use the tools that we have at home with so many people staying home. We encourage all our viewers to check out snapartist.com, get some information on some of the programs that Snap Gallery is running that you can take advantage of virtually. And thanks again for having us.
Thank you.